and how will Iran strike back for Israel's assassination of Hezbollah's top military chief? That question hanging over the Middle East this hour. US sources say Iran and its affiliates are preparing to respond, possibly in the coming days. Right now, diplomats from Islamic nations are meeting in an emergency session in Saudi Arabia at Iran's request. They are expected to urge restraint from Tehran and condemn Israel over its suspected killing of Hamas political chief Ismail Haniyeh in Iran recently. Yahya Sinwar, an alleged architect of the October the 7th attacks, has been tapped to replace Haniyeh. Among those working at that meeting in Jeddah, Jordan's Foreign Minister Ayman Safadi has been conducting a flurry of talks to diffuse tensions. He stopped in Iran on Sunday, the first such visit by a top Jordanian official in 20 years. Ayman Safadi stepping away from that meeting in Jeddah to talk to us. This is his first interview since he was in Tehran, and you have been with the acting foreign minister of Iran today. So I want to get your sense of Iran's thinking at this point as the region awaits for what is threatened retaliation by Iran on Israel. What do you understand to be Tehran's position at this point? And what are they trying to achieve with this meeting, Foreign Minister?
Good evening, Becky. We are in a very, very dangerous situation in the region following the assassination of the head of the political bureau of Hamas, Ismail Haniyeh. Tensions have risen, obviously. What we in Jordan are saying is that the region cannot afford further conflict, further war, further destruction, and we must stop this escalation. And the first step towards stopping the escalation is ending its root cause, which is the continued Israeli aggression on Gaza. Everybody has to realize that the situation is extremely dangerous. The threat of the region being dragged into regional war is real. We do want this escalation to stop. We've been working very hard to achieve that, and we're 100% convinced that the first step towards that de-escalation is stopping the aggression on Gaza. Iran, obviously, I had discussions with the Iranian foreign minister, the Iranian president in Tehran a few days ago. I went there at the invitation of the foreign minister to try and see what we can do to bring the temperature down. They believe that they've been done a great wrong, and they believe they have the right to respond. So what we're trying to do is, again, to create conditions in which everybody will see value in de-escalating, and that would be ending the aggression, getting a permanent ceasefire, and then urging everybody to act responsibly and prevent the whole region from falling into the abyss further.
While the US Secretary of State has said that the ceasefire talks are in their final stages, sources that I talk to around this region suggest that, we are not close at this point. So given that, and given that the appeal to Iran has been from both you and others, that a ceasefire is what we should be pushing for here and retaliation by default not, what is it that Tehran hopes to achieve today in Jeddah? Is this just a holding pattern at this point? We're not going to get a ceasefire today or tomorrow. I think you and I would agree on that. So is this just a holding pattern at this point by Tehran? Can we, do you believe, expect to see that threatened retaliation in the days to come?
Well, as I said, Becky, the danger is real. I think our meeting today will not be able to bring about a ceasefire. I think Iran and Palestine called for this emergency meeting to try and rally Arab Muslim position behind condemning the assassination of Haniyeh, and to urge for more effective work by the international community to end the aggression on Gaza. Again, I think we need to do something really transformative here. I think regardless of where Iran is, where Israel is at this point, if we are to force Israel to accept a ceasefire in the aggression in Gaza, ensure that we get that permanent ceasefire, then we would have created enough reason for everybody to say enough is enough. Now we have an opportunity at real de-escalation, and we should move towards that. So the talks on the ceasefire are obviously complicated, particularly after the assassination of the chief negotiator from the Hamas side, which we believe is a violation of international law and a reckless move that we condemned as a crime. But beyond that, where do we stand now? We have two paths: a path that will drag the region further into the abyss of war, or a path that would say enough is enough and save the region from the devastation of an all-out war. And we believe that if we throw into the discourse a real promise of a ceasefire, then we believe everybody will have a strong argument to say, let's not escalate any further. Everybody must exercise self-restraint and use the opportunity of a ceasefire to go further towards calming the temperature in the region at whole.
Ismail Haniyeh, described by the Qataris as the lead negotiator, of course, for Hamas in those indirect talks. His assassination is, as you suggest, complicating any mediation effort. Surely you accept that the appointment of Yahya Sinwar, seen by Israel as the architect of the October 7th deadly attacks, his appointment as the political leader for Hamas at this point must further complicate the potential for any success in these ceasefire talks, doesn't it?
We are already in a very complex situation. The war on Gaza has been ongoing for 10 months. The devastation it has produced is beyond description. And we all rallied behind efforts to bring about that exchange deal to reach that permanent ceasefire that we want. But look, we've been to the door and back so many times in regards to the discussion, so I will not really say that we are near or not near until we see that deal happening. But I think the bottom line is that if there is a will to achieve that ceasefire, we believe that it can be achieved. The challenge that we have is that every time we get near, Israel does something that complicates the situation further, including, as you pointed to, the assassination of Ismail Haniyeh in the middle of negotiations, which the US, Qatar and Egypt were saying we are achieving some progress. So you come and assassinate the chief negotiator, undermine the whole process, and continue with the war in Gaza. Our message to the whole world, Becky, is that enough is enough. Enough killing and destruction has taken place. The only path forward is really to bring about an immediate ceasefire that will help de-escalate the regional situation, will save the region from the abyss of further conflict, and will protect the region from the agenda of Netanyahu, who continues to provoke, continues to escalate, and every time there's a glimpse of hope, he does something that pushes us back to the edge of the abyss. So the question is, do we allow Netanyahu and his radical government to impose their agenda on the region and doom it, therefore, to a future of more conflict? Or do we do what we all believe is right and bring about that permanent and immediate ceasefire, and then work with everybody to make sure that we are on a path that will ensure that everything that has happened since October 7 does not happen again? Nothing on the table as of yet is going beyond tactical. We believe that we should start with ending the aggression and start talking strategically about how do we launch a plan to implement a solution that will guarantee we will not relive these horrors again, and that only solution is ending the occupation and the two-state solution. We cannot be capped by what Netanyahu is willing to accept or willing to allow. Unfortunately, this has been the reality that is within which all proposals have been imprisoned thus far.